Hello race fans, I'm James Dimmitt with Dimmitt Race Videos, and this is the Pit Stop. Welcome everyone. Today I have with me Keith Beringer Jr. and Keith Beringer Sr., two of the competitors in the front wheel drive division out at the South Bend Motor Speedway. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Doing great.
Doing very well.
Let's start off with how you got started in racing. Senior, how did you get started?
Years ago, back in the 70s, I was out here driving in the demos. Then family came along and, life got in the way. And then 5 years ago, he got into the racing, and then I had an opportunity to drive Glenn Cormican's car one night, and then after that, it was in the blood. I was hooked. You
were hooked back into it?
Yeah, I got back into it. So I've had a ball ever since. A lot of work, it takes a lot of time, but I'm having a ball.
Now, if I remember correctly, when you came back, I think you got the oldest Rookie of the Year award?
Yes, that was my first year in the front wheel drive. At 68 years old, I got Rookie of the Year.
Well, it's good to have life goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I thank the Lord that I'm still healthy enough and strong enough to still be out here and doing this. My son here says that once I got started in this, the sport took 20 years off my life. He says I'm more active. Off my age. He says I'm stronger, and more active, and so it's done wonders, and I really appreciate the sport.
And it seems like you're having a lot of fun when you're out here.
Oh, I'm having a ball. It's just it's a dream, because back when I was an early teen, I was out here in the pits and working the wreckers and stuff, and had an opportunity to buy a sport car. My folks just would not sign the waiver, and then by the time I was old enough to get out here on my own, then I'd met my wife, and like I said, life got in the way.
Keith, how did you get started?
Well, it was one of those timing and opportunity situations. My son was getting ready to play some travel ball with the South Bend Cubs Travel League, on his way to college to play college ball. I knew the Davises from playing baseball and stuff, and I'd always wanted to be a race car driver, always wanted to get into it. Both the kids were out of the house and moving on to college, and opportunity came up for me to get this car, and we jumped on it.
The real plus about it is the fact that he and I are actually out here getting to race against each other, and that's so much a bonus for both of us to be able to come out here and go door to door and let our competitive juices just flow.
Racing against each other as competitors, not as father and son.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're too competitive to be letting each other get away with anything.
There's been a few times we've had paint switched cars in the middle of the week that we didn't even find until we got back to the shop that week. We're like, we weren't that close. Oh, wait, yep, there's the paint transfer.
That's how racers can figure out like who got into them and who they got into. They look at the paint transfers. How's your 2022 season going so far, Senior?
If you look at the standings, I'm fifth in the standings here halfway through the season. I'm extremely pleased with that. We've had a lot more incidences on the track. I've had a lot more work to do to repair the car to keep it on the track this year than I did last year. But overall, I'm pleased with the way things are going.
How about for you, Keith Jr.?
It's been an up and down season. I mean, I came out the first couple weeks in a row and was sitting on the pole. Ended up setting the track record at a 13.231 a few weeks ago. Derek Davis just broke it tonight with a 13.100. He just had a blistering lap, and congrats to him. All congrats to him. I mean, we've been chasing those guys down for 5 years, so we know how competitive their cars are. So we're got to go find more and see what we can go get. But we're on our third motor for the year. Our primary motor was in the shop getting refreshed, so we put a junkyard motor in. That's what we set the track record with. That and year-old tires. And then that motor spectacularly blew up, big hole in the block like that. Smoke, flames, smoked out the backstretch. I mean, it was wonderful. Threw another junkyard motor in just as a Band-Aid until our regular car motor got in. That one we knew wasn't good before we even put it in, but we needed a motor to get us by a night or two. That week got rained out, so we never had to test it that week. We had another week. It went bad right on the first 2 laps of hot laps. Did a start and park that night. Motor guy called and said, hey, your motor's done. I was like, perfect. So we put the real motor back in it. And anytime I've finished the race, we've been top 3, top 4, running down the lead every time when we've had a chance to race. Just motor issues prior to that, but even with that, we're still 4th in points with the 311 car right now.
Now, you've had the chance to race out at the Plymouth Motor Speedway. How is that? Obviously, it's a little bit larger track, but driving-wise, how is that different for you?
I did. Last night was my first night on the track, and it's a drastically different track. It's a 3/8 mile, much like M40 is, but even from M40 to Plymouth, it drives way, way different. So I had new tires on the car, new setup. It was 90 degrees, hot, slick. Track was super slick. The track officials do a great job of laying tack down, doing everything they can to get us a groove, but conditions being what they were, my brake, my lift points, my driving wasn't where it normally would be on a track once I get used to it. And even with that, I was still right with the pack on time, so we were all within a couple thousandths of each other. So I was real pleased as far as the times I was getting. I felt like I was still leaving time out there, but let me tell you, it's smooth, fast. I mean, it's a fantastic track. The South Bend Speedway and their crew now own that track, and they are doing an amazing job down there getting everything set up for us. It was a ton of fun.
Senior, you haven't had a chance to race out there yet, but you're going to be going next week.
Yes, that's the plan. We're going to go down there for the shootout. So front wheel drivers are going to be eligible next week. So
Grand Slam event.
The Grand Slam event.
Yeah.
So Lord be with us if we don't have to tear the car up again tonight. We're going to go down there.
Let me ask you, if you had a dream track that you could drive at, what would that be?
Well, ultimately, it'd probably be Daytona. That looks like such a fun track to be out on. But Indy's a home track, so I'd like to have my chance at that.
How about for you, Keith Jr.?
Oh, those are 2 great tracks. I mean, I would say the same thing as far as dream tracks would be Daytona, Indianapolis. I mean, we've grown up watching the Indy 500. Realistically, because they do run our cars down at Bristol, I would love to get my car down to Bristol, especially when they go back to running it on asphalt. They've been running it as a dirt track for the front-wheel drive nationals here the last couple of years, but they go back to running that on asphalt, and they can happen to do it on a week that we're off. I would love to drive Bristol.
All right, let's ask you some fun questions. Do you have a favorite track food?
You end up eating a lot of hot dogs and cheeseburgers just because we're in a rush all the time, but towards the end of the night, I tell you, you got to get the nachos. Nachos are always a go-to.
How about for you, Senior? Any favorite track food?
Probably the nachos and popcorn.
Well, race fans, you can see Keith Sr. and Keith Jr. race out here weekly at the South Bend Motor Speedway on Saturday nights. Check out the season schedule. We'd love to have you come out here and join us. As they always say here at South Bend, get your backside, trackside. Right, guys?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you both, and we'll talk to you again.
Thank you for everything you do for us every time.
Love your videos. We get to watch them, and we learn so much from what we see with what you're doing. So thank you so very much.
Oh, you guys are welcome, and thank you for watching them. And fans, thank you for watching the Pit Stop.